Alright guys, this is my follow-up review to the KWA SR10. I'm going to be putting up an annotation in this video. I'm sure you guys will be seeing it in a second. I'm just going to kind of do a follow-up review here. Like I said, I did my first game with this gun today. I have a couple good things to point out, a couple bad things to point out. I can obviously talk about how good the gun is just holding it out of the box, but after you put it up against other guns and kind of push it to its potential, I can tell you about how it went, and that way you can get an idea of how yours might hold up in the same manner. I just want to tell you the field was it was really small. It was about the size of a soccer field. CQB, woodland kind of environment, kind of like an old abandoned paintball field. Piles of junk, old couches stuck against trees. It was kind of a last-minute game with like 5 guys. It was really, really small. But I did it with low caps up against high caps and stuff. I do have to mention that the hop-up is horribly unresponsive. I thought it was before when I was adjusting out of the box. It seemed like it was just keeping up with what I was doing, but it actually seems like the hop-up has, it's literally like, not to sound offensive, it sounds like retarded hop-up. Like, it just takes forever to keep up with the setting. Like, you can set it higher and higher, and you shoot it, it's like, okay, good, now it's shooting straight, and then all of a sudden you notice the shot's starting to curve up very slightly. You don't get the nice, like, when you turn your hop-up too far, and you get that really nice curve that goes up. I can't even get that. I'm putting my hop-up all the way on, and just short of jamming the gun, it's just putting the BBs out there, and I guess I had a look at the hop-up, and I thought it was split, but it's actually like a V-point rubber that's touching the BB, and I checked the barrel, and there's actually a smudge in it from the factory. It looked just like some kind of grayish-black mass that was in the barrel, and it was just along the bottom, and it was actually creating an anti-hop-up. It would hit the hop-up and begin backspin, and it got about halfway along the barrel, and then it would hit this mess and begin to downspin, and it would come out the barrel was going down. I was wondering what was happening. So, having read the manual, and found out the purpose for them including two 2.5mm Allen wrenches, is for a contra-rotation effect on the body bolt here and the cap screw on this side, and it basically just allows you to crank the bolt down really tight and undo it. And it's really tough to get the bolt out. It's really in there, and it's a really good design. Unlike Classic Army or any other M4 where you have to knock out the front pin only and then slide it forward and then try and avoid the mass of wires if it's wired to the front. It's a very simple thing. You just knock out just the rear pin and you actually take it, and it's a little rough, but if you take the front end of this mag well and you put it on your knee and just give it a little tap, it's going to pop the rear end of the upper receiver open, and it's going to allow you to extract your entire barrel and hop-up assembly. This does not need to have the hop-up assembly slid off of the air nozzle manually. It's actually designed to hinge off. I would love to take this gun apart for you in this review, but it actually takes a little bit of finicking and just kind of like messing with it to get it to kind of work. And I don't want to take up time to do that. You guys can obviously figure it out. The manual shows you how. It's actually pretty nifty. It's just a little tight because the stuff is really stiff, and it's designed really well. As you can tell, the gearbox has its own KWA logo on it, and it is built like a tank. I heard from an airsmith who claimed this gun would stink, that it was over complex and parts are going to fail on it, but it seems like as long as you leave it on its own and let it work with the parts it's designed with, it shoots very nice. It's actually shooting very hard, and it has a rate of fire with this G&G battery. It's shooting about 1,000 rounds per minute. It's actually shooting rather fast. I chose not to do full automatic today. When I did instead was I was firing 3-shot bursts, and it was beautiful. I don't think I fired full automatic all day. I just did 3-shot bursts at people, and if they got farther away, I did semi-automatic. It saves ammo, and it really keeps your shots on target, and when you're playing 1-hit kills instead of 3-hit kills, which our team usually does, which is really stupid, don't even ask, it's really nice to hit someone twice in the chest and once in the head. It's just unbelievable. I can just tell you the gun is, I fixed the problem where the rail was cocked actually. There are 2 pins inside of this that actually keep your grip seated when you're cranking this slip ring down. And not a slip ring, sorry, delta ring. It's not a slip ring anymore because you have to screw it on. And I actually removed them and used a clamp to, I actually scratched the paint doing it. I'm a little sad about that. I can actually clamp this down now, and now my front sight is no longer crooked, or so I believe. I don't know how long it's going to last. If anything, I'll just put the pins back in. It's pretty straightforward how I did it. If you guys have the same problem, you'll figure it out. You just unscrew this and slide this open. You're going to see 2 pins. One of them will probably fall out. If you point the gun down by mistake, and that's when you figure out that they're free sliding pins. When you take them out, you can slide the grip back on, and you're free to rotate it all 360 degrees while cranking this delta ring back down. So you can position it where you want and make sure they're lined up, and then crank this thing down. And what I did was I put a bandana over it to protect the paint, and it didn't work too well. I took a C-clamp and put it on here, and I put a vertical grip right here, so I could brace it against the vertical grip, and I just cranked the C-clamp down, and it rotated the ring and locked it, so I don't need the pins to hold it in place anymore. I'm just going to periodically tighten this up. As for accuracy and range, as I said, the hop-up wasn't too responsive, and shooting .25s, they were nosediving at about 80 feet, which is kind of depressing. So I went back to .2s, and I went into my backyard, and I took out a one of those big tape measures for like surveyors, and it was a 100-foot tape measure, and I put it on a stake from the tip of where my muzzle was, and I measured across my yard to a tree where I was shooting, which has a torso-sized area on it that I like to use for reference, and it measured at 179 feet exactly. It seriously came out to 179 feet against that tree. If you want to round it up to 180, you can, but I'm telling you, at 179 feet on semi-automatic, every 2 out of 3 rounds was hitting that tree. I still have a lot of lube in the barrel because I really wanted to make sure I get that gunk out of there, so I really saturated the barrel in silicone spray, and using the included cleaning rod and a rag, I got the stuff out, and the barrel is pristine now, but the BBs had a lot of excess lube, so like every 3rd shot would just randomly spiral, but it is settling in. I put the high cap in the gun for target shooting, and I put it 300 rounds through the gun, 300, 350, somewhere in there, whatever I loaded it to, and put those through to really settle the hop up in. It's really starting to shoot nice. You know, anything less than 100 feet you can pretty much nail with ease. Anything past 100 feet, put a 3-shot burst into it, you got them, and if you're getting really desperate, just move up and get close to your target and then shoot it. It has a long barrel, but it doesn't actually have exceptional range or accuracy, but it feels like you should, which is depressing, but at the same time it looks mean, and if you can actually hit your target, you're really thankful for it. It's not an inaccurate gun by any means. It's actually very nice, and now that my front sight is actually like in line with the rest of the gun and it isn't like sticking off on a diagonal, I can actually like put it on stuff and hit what I'm aiming at, and it's very nice. The only other problem I noticed with the gun was that this stock catch right here is incredibly easy to bump, and I'd noticed like I'd have it set to 3 and it would be hanging from my 1-point sling, and then I'd move up and I'd go to shoulder the gun and I'd feel it click, and I look down and it's on 2, and then I'd just be like, whatever, alright, fine, it clicked, and then a couple of minutes later it'd be on 1 and then 0. It would just keep opening and closing itself against the sling, so I'm trying to figure out a way to brace this and make it a harder pull, but I can't figure out how to get the stock off. It seems like it's on there pretty good. And one other note with the stock is that people have mentioned that this gets kind of slippery, and I remember saying in my review that what kind of dipshit are you or something about letting this slip off your shoulder. It's not that it slips off, it's that these edges are actually round and they don't want to stay seated against your shoulder. There's nothing that really bites, so what I do is I try and take this and put it inside of the shoulder strap of my vest, and it really keeps it seated. I also noticed that if you bunch the wires in here the wrong way, you can only close it about this far and it's going to bind up instead of going all the way closed. So I'm just telling you that, and other than that, it held up pretty well. I didn't get many kills today because I spent more time sitting in the back trying to figure out where people were. I kind of played it safe today, but when it did shoot, it shot very nicely when I forced it to, and considering it had some gunk in the barrel, it actually shot pretty straight, and it's shooting rather hard, and there's very little flight time between your muzzle and your target, and people have very good reason to be afraid of you downrange, no matter what BBs you're shooting at, and be it .2, .23, or .25, screw it, even .28 or .30. Whatever you're shooting out of this gun, people have a reason to be afraid of you. So it's holding up pretty good so far, and let's keep you guys updated. It seems like it's going to be a great gun. So thanks for watching, guys.